now, but at the same time, I am so freaking frustrated. I know that's not a curse word. I'm just so frustrated with just the dating world in general and men in general. What happened? Where did all the men go? Men. No boys. Not the boys. I'm looking for the men. Men under the age of 50. Men, anyone? Do you exist? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself here, and so far, I'm really not having any luck. And it's really freaking frustrating. I mean, I've definitely come to my own conclusions, and...
What's going on, guys? This is Ed, the African Red Pill. Welcome to the video. It's good to be back. I was unwell, no wonder I haven't been posting videos of late. But now I'm back. And today's video, we're talking about the war. This is part 2. If you watched part 1 of the war, this is part 2. So we're talking about the war. If you didn't watch part 1, let me explain what the war is to you. Hitting the war is a place where a woman is no longer as attractive as she used to be when she was younger, or she no longer has the options of men as she used to have when she was younger. That's hitting the wall. This channel is about intersexual dynamics, so hitting the wall is strictly talking about intersexual dynamics when it comes to the dating marketplace. So this is part 2 of hitting the wall. Let's get into it.
Why aren't men wanting to commit to women anymore? Why are men just wanting to stay away from women, far, far away, not marry, not commit, not have children, and potentially even just pump and dump? Well, you got it right here. You continue with this feminist movement, never-ending demands on men, constant blaming, shaming, entitled attitude. You want to continue to compete with men instead of just be with men and be feminine, be beautiful, be a woman. If you want to do that, kiss your prospects for a marriage and a committed man goodbye.
As a woman, if you don't utilize your best chances to lock down a man when you're at your best, when you're in your prime, when you're at your peak, like that lady who was complaining and crying about where all the good men have gone. Good men haven't gone anywhere. Do you know why? You're just invisible to them. If you're invisible to them, they are looking for somebody who's as attractive as you used to be when you were younger. Now that you're older, you're competing with somebody who's at their best, who's at their peak, who's in their prime. There's no competition. Utilize your best years and you'll be a happy woman. You want to cry like that? Good men haven't gone anywhere. They're just looking for the best. And if you're not at your peak, if you're not in your prime, you're not the best they're looking for. As easy as that. So, where have all the good men gone? Let's see a lady's perspective about why men these days are not committing. Let's check it out.
Where have all the good men gone? They haven't all gone. There are a bunch of them married to great women. And a bunch of them have passed. My father was one of them. But more have passed to suicide. And some of them are still around and they're still hopeful and looking for that beautiful woman. But a lot of them, they've given up on traditional relationships. And they've gone to their tiny little apartments and their 80-hour-a-week jobs, and they're at the grocery store and they're fishing and they're hiking. But they're avoiding women because the court systems scare them. The thought of losing everything scares them. So they'd rather be alone than to risk it all.
That's coming from a fellow lady. I couldn't have said it any better. Feminism, sexual liberation, and all these negative things which used to be looked down when the world was normal, are the cause of everything that's going wrong right now. Let's check out another lady's perspective about where all the good men have gone. Check her out.
Today I'm going to be sharing kind of a not very nice truth here, that if you think there's no good guys left, this could in fact be your fault. And I'm not saying that to be a dick or mean or anything like that. I'm just a huge believer from my experience of teaching literally tens of thousands of men and women how to date.
You know what? It turns out that most men don't really want a woman who acts like a demanding, entitled asshole, who shame them, who constantly blame them, and who constantly ask them to change or do better. It turns out, I mean, can't believe this is such a surprise, but it turns out that men don't really like when women call them all toxic and say that they're always doing things wrong and that their masculine traits and the things that they're offering to women are being unappreciated.
Women today, like I said, they're not ladylike. They walk around, they want to dress skimpy, they want to put on enough makeup to where they start looking like a transsexual. They want to wear fake this, fake that, fake hair on their head, fake eyelashes, where they look like they dressed up for Halloween night. They getting surgery, they getting their lips blown up, they getting their butts done, their breasts done. Nothing's real anymore, and it's all done to impress not only men but other women. Women are in competition with each other.
The rewards for men in these fields, especially in marriage, is so much less than it used to be, and the costs and dangers are so high that I think a lot of men are opting out. And we can definitely see this, particularly online, where at least men can kind of get on and speak up. And you see that on the Reddit, like in some of the forums on Reddit or other places where men can actually talk about some of these issues and give their opinions in a more free manner. And I think guys just feel like there's just not that much in it for them. If you're a man and you have kids, in today's world, you're expected to earn a living. You're expected to come home, clean the house, and fix, do the dishes and everything. And of course, if you're not able to do all of that, you're called a loser, you're called names. And then if you do actually do all those things, then you're called a beta male. So it just, you really can't win.
So when it comes to dating, the first date is an opportunity to kind of have some fun, enjoy doing something together, and get to know if there is enough to continue dating. But be very careful of being like, oh, I just didn't feel the spark. Oh, it was okay, but not that great. No, I'm not too keen on seeing that person again, because you could be eliminating kind of too early before you're allowing things to develop.
If other women were not whores and willing to lay down and flirt with a married man or a man in a relationship, and this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. Men wouldn't be able to do this kind of stuff. They wouldn't be able to cheat on you as often. They wouldn't be able to run off or sleep with a woman they just met if the woman wouldn't be willing to do it. So instead of running around blaming men, men are only going along with what women have allowed.
I want to go back now to what you were talking about before with marriage specifically, and how that's become not as, it's just a better deal for women than it is for men. And so much of that has to do, as you were explaining, that it's not as though men can be primarily responsible for providing for their family, although they're still expected to do that as much as they ever
yes,
were.
Yes, in fact, the Pew Research Center did a study, and they found that the majority of people still expect men to provide for families, particularly,
Right, and that's all fine, except when you're adding on to that, oh, and by the way, when you come home, you're not going to have any moment to breathe, and you're going to have no time for yourself, and there's no place where you can go as a man and be alone with men because those spaces are gone, yada, yada, yada. So basically, you're a slave to your life.
Like 50 years. Let's go back to your grandparents and your great-grandparents. Everybody think about your great-grandparents. Do you think, and I'm generalizing here, typically they were married when they had children. And I want you to think about this. Do you think that when your great-grandmother met your great-grandfather, the first day she met him, she slept with him? Probably not. Back then, women were ladylike. They wore dresses, they covered their bodies, they had a man court them. Then if they were going to be with that man, they typically wanted to be married to that man before they had their children or whatnot. Or if they had a child with that man, they got married afterwards. And women from those times, like your great-grandmother, probably only have slept with 1 or 2 partners in their whole life. I know female acquaintances my age that have slept with 60, 70, 80 men, 5 men a year since the age of 16, 15. You know, that adds up, believe it or not. And they don't see nothing wrong with that.
It's a good thing that is women who are explaining where all the good men have gone. If it was a man explaining, nobody would listen because they would be affected by emotions instead of hearing with logic. So the fact that I as a man don't want to trigger emotions, which I know I have by now, this video is gonna be self-explanatory by women themselves. Shout out to Manosphere Highlights Daily, MHD. I'm a huge fan. They provided the video I just watching about women telling women why men are opting out of the dating market. It's self-explanatory. Yeah. So women, more especially younger ladies, even you older ladies, you can learn about this so that you can educate younger ones who care about. If you hit the wall, life is harder at the top. 30 and above, the dating market becomes very competitive for a woman. Below 30, more especially below 25, you have the world at the oyster as a woman. You've got an opportunity to pick the best guy, the best man, the man of your dreams. If you miss out that window, it gets to be hard. Just like you've seen these old ladies complaining and crying about where all the good men have gone. Good men haven't gone anywhere. They're just not looking for you. And we're living in a world where a few men are as real as it used to be back in the day. Because we've got a lot of feminized men. A lot of men have been emasculated. So when you're at your peak and then you get a chance to meet a real man, utilize it. Because along the way, they're only going to meet men who behave like a woman. And most of you, even you who's watching, is not attracted to a man who's feminine. But if you've hit the wall, you're going to settle, and the man you're going to end up with is the type of man you don't like. Let me not waste your time by prolonging this video. This video has been self-explanatory. So this is where I'm going to end my video. If you enjoyed watching this video, if you are disputing what I'm talking about, comment, hit like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're a fan of my content. Help this channel to grow so that the message can spread out there. Yeah, so this is where I'm gonna end my video. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.